So this should be lesson 12. More review and a little bit more note reading today. Your image of your ukulele shows your 4 strings, G, C, E, and A. Good children eat apples. I'm playing with a low G string, so when you play this string, you'll probably hear, although you're hitting this 4th string, you'll hear this higher pitched G. Don't be surprised that mine's lower. Good children eat apples tells you your open string names. On the strings, we learned that on the C string, 2nd fret was D. C is open, it's to the left of the nut. D is fretted at the 2nd fret. You go higher in pitch by shortening the string. We can go to an E or switch to the open E string, the 2nd string. Off the nut would be the E note, open. F is 1st fret, G is 3rd. In music, A's come after G's, so we could continue and find an A or switch strings. A is the open 1st string, 2nd fret is B, 3rd fret is C. C, D, E, F, G, you hear the alphabet there. If you had started on A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you start again, A, B, C, a C major scale. Went back down, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Hopefully you're memorizing those notes up and down. This is a C major scale. We noticed that from C to D is 2 frets. That's a whole step. E is 2 frets away. We find it on the next open string though. 1 fret away from E, from open to 1st is F. 2 frets away is G. That's another whole step. 2 frets away is the open A. 2 frets above that is B. That's a whole step. The last step is from B to C. It's a half step. 1 fret. That's why B's and C's are close here, as are E's and F's. So that's a C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Here it is in notation. C is this ledger line note under the staff. You recognize that perhaps as middle C. A little bit higher is D. It's right under the staff. And then we go up line space, line space, line space. And we're going alphabetically. So we had C on a line, D in a space. E on a line, F in a space, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all the way up to C here. To get started, we have little sayings. On this treble clef, the treble clef is actually just a stylized fancy G note. The G note is this 2nd line. It's called fixing the G on the 2nd line of the staff. Every good boy deserves fudge tells you the notes on the lines. Every good boy deserves fudge, E, G, B, D, F. Between those notes, between the lines in the spaces, we have face. Face rhymes with space, F-A-C-E. When you're caught forgetting a note, use one of these sayings. If you look at it and it's on a line, just remember, oh, I'll use every good boy deserves fudge. So you may be looking for this 2nd from the highest line, and you don't recognize it, so you just name your phrase. Every good boy deserves fudge, and you find the D. Or you find F-A-C-E in spaces. But once you get going, when you're actually reading notes, you'll be reading the flow of them. C to the next note a little higher is D, to the next note a little higher is E. Down here, I've written out from your Hal Leonard book. Hopefully you have this book, Hal Leonard Ukulele Book 1. We'll also use Alfred's Book 1 at times. And for note reading, this is the book I had mentioned, Cora B. Aaron's Rudiments of Music. This is just a practice in naming notes. You'll see page after page of notes and you'll write their names in underneath them. Don't do that in your note reading book. We want to use the book as an exercise in reading notes, not writing them down so that we can get really good at one or another melody. This is Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's the 2nd one on that page. Although it's longer, it's actually the easier song, so I want to start with it. You see this lowest note on the line? That's the E on the bottom line. D is below it and C is on the ledger line. You may want to write in a couple of notes to get started, but don't write in all the notes of the song. So we've got E, D, and C. You're already good at those because you've already learned hot cross buns. E, D, C, E, D, C, 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 D, 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 E, D, C. These are the exact same notes. E, D, C, D, E, 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 bottom line. D's under the staff, D, D, D. E, bottom line. It starts again. E, D, C, like hot cross buns, going back up to the D. Notice that flow. E, D, C, D. You went back up a little from C to a D. Back up a little to these 4 E's. Down a bit to D's. Back up to E. Back down to D. And we end with a C. So this is Mary Had a Little Lamb, or Merrily We Roll Along sometimes. In your book, they will also give you the tab for it underneath. The tab gives you the 4 strings of the ukulele and shows you what fret you're playing on. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. For instance, if these were your 4 strings, this E is on the 2nd string open, so they'll put an O on 2nd string. D is on the 3rd string 2nd fret, and C is 3rd string open. So this would be open, 2, and open. You'll see a tab for that. At this point, use tab as a hint if you can. Don't read it. Don't use it as your main source right now, if you can help it. In one of my early bass books, I actually blacked out all the tab to force me to read notes. Use them as fact checkers rather than as a cheat to give you all your notes. So we have E, D, 2nd fret, open C on the 3rd string, 2nd fret D, open E on the 2nd string 3 times, D 3 times, 2nd fret, E 3 times. Sometimes you'll think you should go to a G, E, G, G. In this version, we're not doing that. It might not satisfy your ears much, but it's a little easier to read. We're halfway through the song now. We're back on the line E, under the staff D, on the ledger line C, under the staff D, 4 E's this time. 2 more D's, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and another hot cross buns, E, D, C. So we have it again, E, D, C, D, E, 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 D, 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 E, 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 D, C, D, 4 E's, 2 D's, E, D, C. Practice that over and over again. Do 1 bar at a time for a while. E, D, E, D, E, D, C, D, E, D, C, D, E, D, C, D, E, E, E. Watch you get rid of the gaps between bars. E, D, C, D, right into E. Once again, right now, at first I just wrote circles on the lines, then I put stems on them. Let me fill them in now for the actual rhythm they have. We're in 4/4 time. We have 4 notes in the first bar. 4 notes in 4 beats means each one gets 1 beat. Each one gets a quarter of the bar. So they're quarter notes for 1 beat each. So I'll fill them in. In the next bar, we have 3 notes. Bum, bum, ba. The first 2 are quarters. Beat 1, beat 2. This one's longer, so I'll leave it as is. It gets half the bar. This got beats 1 and 2. This must then get 3 and 4. It's a 2 beat note, the half note. It looks like a quarter note that's not filled in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. This one gets 3 and 4. This bar looks the same, so it's the same rhythms. 2 quarters and a half, 1, 2, and then this gets 3, 4. Same thing on this one. E, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice this is worth 2 beats, but I'm not saying 1 and 2. I'm at the 3rd beat of the bar of 4, 4, so I say 3 and 4. It gets the last 2 beats. We have 4 notes here, so these are quarter notes again. They're all colored in. Same thing with these E's, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same here, 2 D's, an E, and a D. So these are all quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That last note is all by itself in a 4/4 bar. It gets all 4 beats. It's the whole note. It's just a circle. It looks like a half note without a stem, and it gets all 4. So that's how Mary Had a Little Lamb looks in your book, although it will have a tab underneath it to tell you what frets to play these on. So here we move on to Frere Jacques. The notes are starting on the ledger line note, the C, and moving up step by step, C, D, E. It's the opposite of Hot Cross Buns and Mary Had a Little Lamb. They went E, D, C. This goes up, C, D, E, and it drops to the ledger line again, back down in Frere Jacques down to the C. So C, D, E, C, the open C again. So open C, second fret D, open E, back to C. Are you sleeping? Or Frere Jacques. Are you sleeping? Same bar. Are you sleeping? Now we start on that E note on the line, and we move up into the space. The spaces give you the word face. So that's your F. We haven't played any Fs in our melodies yet, but we've been practicing them in our scale. They're on the second string, first fret. In this tab, they would be represented as a 1 on the second string. There's F, and the third fret is G. Open is the same E as we had earlier. Your book again has this written in tab underneath, but try to read the notes. So here we are at E, open E, on the same string, a half step higher. On the first fret is F. 2 frets higher, a whole step above F is the G. Notice I've got quarter notes, beat 1, beat 2, and a half note for 2 beats, beats 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brother John. So C, D, E, C. Are you sleeping? Or Frere Jacques. And dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Or Brother John, Brother John. What they don't have is so they don't have the rest of the song for you. This is just an introduction to it, using the part of the melody that's easy to read, familiar to your ear, and accessible on ukulele. The ding-dang-dongs at the end require this low string, which you probably don't have. So that's all we'll do with this melody. I'll play it again slowly and you can play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, E, C, C, D, E, C, E, F, G, E, F, G, and that's all you get. I was going to remind you of all your chords, but this probably took enough time, so just continue to practice them as you always do. Go back and review the other videos if you have to remember them. Thanks a lot, guys. Take her easy. See you later.